Most founders don't lose themselves overnight. They lose themselves slowly, one success at a time. Success didn't just break you, it changed who you are faster than you could adapt to the situations coming at you.
Gosh, this might be an interesting one here. Now, you ready to dive into this one?
Let's get after it, dude.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Never in Reverse podcast, episode 45 this week, buddy.
Wow.
I did an exercise with a group of men that I led. It was really hard. The exercise was we are going to write our obituary.
Eek.
And man, I'm not where I want to be. That's all I can tell you.
But Jeremy, I think some of it is too, is some people are natural leaders, right? They have these leadership characteristics. And I know you know me. Some of those things come naturally to some folks, where others struggle.
Watching that struggle, because that's the reality of the light. That's how are you showing up in this world? Are you defining yourself as XYZ company? Are you saying that's who I am? Because that too shall pass. I'm in that moment right now. Like, man, how do I redefine myself as a person? But you have to uncover those anchors. For me, it's a lot of it is the anchors around financial fears. It's what ifs moments, like what if I don't have enough? What if I can't give my kids enough?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's, the lasting impressions that you leave with people and how you want to be remembered.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Never in Reverse podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Axel, co-host, the man, Doug Cox, West Coast. What's up, Doug?
What's up, West Coast?
Episode 45 this week, buddy.
Wow. Yeah, and we're into the dog days of winter.
My kid last night says, Dad, you want to get after? He said, you want to wrestle? I said, yeah. He goes, I'm going to trip you and get you in a seatbelt, which is like a hug. I'm like, dude, you're like 3 feet tall, bro. Like, you ain't going to do anything. But
you turn on Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting.
Oh, dude. Dude, I wake up to that. My kids, dude, they're Kung Fu fighting every day. It's like,
oh gosh,
pecking order. Who's going to win?
Yeah, it's like my son thinks he knows everything about football, right? Because he's all football all the time. Well, long story short, he got a Switch for Christmas and he has Madden football. And I haven't played video games. I can't tell you. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
So he goes, Dad, get on the sticks. Let's play. I'm like, all right. So we get on there and it took me about a quarter to figure it out. But guess who won?
Dad, buddy. Yeah, you don't want to this. You want to put a beat down on these kids. You don't want to give them like an inch. Like,
no,
to make
he
them feel
needs
good.
to learn to lose. And he was like, he was all upset and he went and colored like this little football trophy. You got me this time, Dad. I'm like, all right. We got a little rivalry going.
But welcome back, guys. We're going to be in episode 45 and it's going to be kind of the identity crisis that basically every founder hits. Man, this is a challenge for me. I had a conversation, with a buddy about making the business who you are. And I think we're in this big climate cultural, I think we have an issue for the masculine man outside of just being a founder. I just think it's deep and wide in our culture of how we define who we are. You and I struggle to still. I mean, it's a struggle, man. We get connected in a very deep rooted manner as men, and we lead with that a lot. Like it's always the first question of like, oh, hey, Doug. Well, your name's Doug Clement. What do you do? It's never like, it's always, what do you do?
Right.
It's like,
what's your profession? And a lot of it leads that way, and I think it's just, maybe it's history and how it's just, you introduce yourself. It's not like, hey, Doug, nice to meet you. Where are you from? Family, kids? I mean, that's always the second, third question.
Maybe. Because you might uncover some connection there that is surface level.
Business related.
And it's like goes down this spiral.
It's always business.
I don't think it's a founder related issue. I can tell you, like, I'm actually unwinding the identity issues of myself. I never got into, probably outside the first year, I never really got into like an identity issue around my ego, like saying I'm the man or look at me. I mean, you kind of go through this sprint at the beginning when you're young and you're immature starting a business. You just kind of, the emotional thing, like, oh my gosh, in 20 years,
I
you're
need to be recognized. They need to see me.
Yeah, all the things that you think
you're
that
clawing at it maybe the wrong ways. Yeah.
You know me, Doug. I don't really like to tell people that I started the company. I don't like to sit there and talk about that stuff. I'm like, I'm the janitor, dude. I clean up.
No, I'm
here to
I'm in the
sweep
trenches with the team. Yeah.
I mean, my shoes go on my feet the same way, but I still think that outside of being the founder, I think it's a masculine issue that we identify deep, especially when you're in a place of where you enjoy it and you like it. I think we just, it's this thing, man. Maybe it's just the depth of providing for our family. And if we enjoy that, we kind of merge those two, and we find ourselves, um,
But Jeremy, I
I,
think
oh,
some of it is too, is some people are natural leaders, right? They have these leadership characteristics. And I know you know me. We're captains on the football team. We are leaders on the football team. I think some of those things come naturally to some folks, where others struggle, you know, um, where they may not be the leader and, but showcasing this to their family or in their household. That's okay, and that's okay for them. But I think for individuals like us, it's part of what makes us tick, what motivates us in these leadership,
yeah.
roles and ideas that, we want to be that staple of the household that, you know, the wife, the mother on hard times knows she has a shoulder to lean on, and we're going to be strong, and we're going to be there for them, but we're also vulnerable where there's times that, need to lean on them.
Yeah, but I think it's identity. I think, Doug, the problem that I think that I have, um, is, I let the outside pressure of what I'm told to be worthy. I need to provide, the fear of the unknown. What if something happens? All the stories that are actually not true yet. I typically play the stories in my head. What if I don't call that customer back? What if I don't show up on time? All the what ifs that I tell myself kind of consume the identity of, like, man, I'm the business leader, or I'm a sales guy, and now Fluent Conveyors is kind of define me. And if you take that back and just start thinking about, like, truly who you are as a man, it's like, man, there's so much more to me. This is just and you and I I have some identity issues at times because of the pressures that I feel as a man, having to provide, having to show up, making sure there's food on the table, making sure that my family's not at risk. I got kids, man. I'm not sitting over there, me and my wife and I, and if I lose my job, I can jump in and drive Uber, man. I got to provide. And so sometimes I let that overarching fear identify me to make sure that I can almost brigade a protection around that
Right.
providing
You
element
can
of
build a
life.
bubble around it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's like, then I'm like, "Oh, it's okay," and I tell myself, and my wife said, "Man, just can you take a breather?" So, like, this morning, man, I sat for the first time. I'm usually up at 4:30, and I go on it. I sat with my wife, and I sat there, and I'm like, "You know what? I'm not getting up." And my kids came in, and we all snuggled,
Took the
and
moment.
we had family hugs, and we called it a family sandwich, man. We put our kids in the middle, and we hug, and we sandwich them. And, but I usually feel really guilty. Like, man, am I doing enough? Should I go? Like, I'm late to my typical day, and I said, "You know what, man? I'm okay.
It's okay.
What's
It can
another
wait a
2
minute.
hours
Right.
what's another 2 hours out of the seat gonna do for me? I'm already early every day anyway, so what's it matter?" You
Right.
know? I was all weekend anyways. I was out in an install all weekend for 12 hours a day,
Yeah.
17 hours a day.
So you owe
Is
your
that
family that time.
is it enough? You know? But
Yeah.
this consume like, my issue with my identity and is that there's outside things that I allow to control me instead of being free from that. So just I think it's okay to identify that and be okay that those things happen because it's normal. I think we all are struggling with that as men.
You and I had an interesting conversation after you got back from your vacation,
Yep.
of, what's important and what are we doing this for? And,
Mhm.
taking time not only for ourselves, but for our family. And I've seen a bit of a shift in you, and I'm proud of you for that because otherwise you would leave this thing on all the time,
All day.
you know? Yeah. And, your family needs you as much as this business does.
Mhm.
And that goes for anybody and everybody. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to look in the mirror and go, this profession, this career, what am I doing it for? At the end of the day, we're doing it for a lifestyle we want to live, for moments that we're living for. That's what we're doing it for. We can't take you could have all the money in the world and you can work 80 hours a week. You can't take the stuff to the grave. you know?
The thing that has happened though, Doug, is we as a country and leaders, we've lost sight. The sales guy hits his quota, let's say it's 300,000, right? He crushes it. The next year it's 450 to make the same amount of money. The next year it's 550. So all they're doing is taking a very selfish view to get what they need, and they don't then that creates this dynamic in the house that's even a bigger bubble. Yeah, you don't want guys just resting, and that's, I'll let you guys know me. I'm like, dude, no, absolutely not. We're gonna keep moving. We're not gonna
Yeah,
sit back and hang out over here. But I'm
but
not
let's
gonna
make
put
the
so
most
much
of our
pressure.
time.
Let's go do it.
Let's make the most of our
Let's.
time. Let's take the
I'm
8
not
hours,
asking.
9 hours a day and make the most of it.
What's happening is the man upstairs. Oh, I got to hit these quotas. All this pressure. They push, 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 and the pressure at that man's home, it's going at a rate outside. I mean, if they live within their means, it's probably a little bit more attainable. But what happens is people make decisions that are outside their means, and then they put a dynamic, and then it's like,
Mhm.
so it's. I think
Other
we just
areas of
got to,
downward pressure. Yeah.
this. So the success, and sometimes that can start to feel wrong as a person. You know, it can create anxiety instead of fulfillment, and I think that's what we gotta just remember, like, and that's why I don't put pressure on you guys. I mean, there's pressure. I don't need to put more. Like, I will
Mhm.
ask if we're moving the needle, but I'm not going to ask in a way that's like, I expect this. I don't expect anything. I just expect you to show up for your family and for yourself. If you do that, I'm good. I don't have
Yeah,
to
but
do
we'd
anything
have a
else.
lot of very highly motivated, self-motivated
Yeah.
individuals too, and I know it's taken a long time for you to kind of build the team, with that in mind, where
Yeah.
people are self-accountable, and that's important, but at the end of the day, it's for me, it's again, it's getting back to that lifestyle I want to live, what I want to provide, the memories I want to create, and this is what I do it for.
Yeah, and I
Truly.
think that we both have seen some, like, outgrowing the old version of yourself is important, and, like,
Of
I've
course.
seen you sometimes, you know,
Don't let me get into
sh
you.
no, shift, like, it's a good thing, like, but there's sometimes we all have we have our scar tissue, we have the things that trigger us, we have the fear things that,
Right.
man, and I'm just like, you've been in statements where emotional resistance holds your team back from the leadership role, and they're not willing to look at that and go, "Dude, I know where that came from, and this is hurting." They're not responsible for that. They're not responsible for what I show up with. That I need to own that, and then the growth. You know where the growth really happens is doing whoop leapfrog it to see what happens. Like, let's leapfrog that and see what comes of that from. And typically what'll happen is, like, if that leader has the capacity to do that, they're going to see that the team was waiting all along, and they're going to push them forward. I'm not perfect. I try to push pretty dang hard. But I'm not, there's also things that I struggle with. So I think it's just, as you identify and you grow as a person in a leadership role, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, like, you're going to have these resistance bands, you're going to have these stresses, you're going to have these capacity thresholds of that version of yourself. And I think it's so important to recognize that and get more curious. Don't be shameful, don't feel guilty. And that's what I was going to get back. That's what I was getting as with you, is like, sometimes you feel, you show up and I can sense that you're feeling not worthy if you don't do something, when the worthiness of you, man, is like, it's always there. I know who you are as a man. I always tell you guys, man, but I do, you're like, hey man, I don't feel like I'm not providing enough value, or the value isn't always a direct number, right? Like, that's not for me. Like, I don't need to decide that. The man upstairs will decide that, right? Like, that's the end of the day. Like, if you're showing up for yourself and your family, good, bad, and indifferent, like, that's all part of the package because we're human. We're not going to be robots. We're not gonna sit in this and act it. Yeah, I'm not going to allow people to fake it, right? The minute we start being unauthentic to us, the good, bad, and indifferent, like, it's like, man, I can sense it. Like, I'm not dumb. Just be honest. Like, dude, I took my foot off the gas for 3 months. I was tired. I've been there. I remember being in a role one time, and I sat there and I was like numb because I was so much resentment, so much disgust with the leadership, just going, man, you guys ain't getting this. All you're just thumbing it one way. It's a one-way street. There's not a street. There's not two-way conversations. You're hearing and faking, and then the
And they're
disconnect of
not
the
recognizing my
yep.
efforts and what I'm contributing, what I'm giving.
Or they're not making
Yeah,
shifts that need to support the true growth, or they're not saying, "Hey,
right.
man, you've been here for a long time. Let me ease up on you. Let's think about this differently." It's just like thumb, thumb,
Let's let
thumb,
you
thumb,
breathe
thumb,
for a
thumb,
minute.
thumb.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think just like be aware of that stuff, right? Like, and so I
And your
think that
stressors, what triggers,
yeah,
your stressors. And I mean, you touched on that and me here a moment ago, and we all have them. And I can tell sometimes when I talk to you and your demeanor, you're short, you're snippy, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna let things cool, let the emotion come out of it. We'll come back. And I'm getting better at managing those stressors too, because consciously I think about that. Because here a few years ago, before I came to work here, I was bringing these stresses home with me, and it was a negative impact in my household, and it was unfair to them that I was bringing this home to the family.
yeah, but Doug, I think the difference sometimes we're in this weird shift of like what that looks like. I think that
Mhm.
when you're in a position like that, and um moments that come up and arise in the way that people lead you. I mean, I get it. Like, dude, it's like, man, I'm in this position, or I'm not able to get what I need to support this,
Right.
but they're
Yeah.
asking me to do it, but they're not giving me the
But
tools.
they're not
They're
giving me
asking
the
me to,
tools. Yeah.
and then they
And
keep
that's what I
asking
was
me
in.
incrementally to do more. It's like, man, how the framework's broken.
Yeah.
If you don't do
Yeah.
this, this is what it looks like. It's
Yeah.
exponential. It's going to be, you're going to go out of business, or we're going to stay flat. You want to grow, I want to grow, we're flat. So
Yeah.
here, unfortunately, you don't get that. You get, Doug, here's where we're going. We're going to do more.
Get on the rocket ship and strap in. Yeah.
Oh,
No.
buddy. What else do we need, fellas? No, we've done a
Yeah.
pretty good job of kind of pinpointing, and I think we're
Yeah.
heading the right direction. But I just
But I
think
think we're
that,
getting better at shaping and molding our identity as we grow
yep,
within this industry and within this business.
yep,
And we're recognizing, but it's also gotten to a point of maturity, right? Where when you get to a point in maturity where it's like you're not stressing about keeping the lights on. Now you're stressing about just making sure that customer is fulfilled, they're happy. It's a different dynamic, and then when you walk out and go, you know what, that customer's happy. I got that text message from 'em, everything went well, and then you just want to wear that badge as you walk in the door, but I think that's what's cultivating our transition in our identity as we grow and mature in this business and in this industry. Which is it's awesome. Yeah, I mean,
it's tough. We're in this weird, like, teenager years. Like, who do we want to become? What is the fundamental thing that we want to
Mhm.
represent? And how do we bring that into um, being natural to not have to remember a script or to say something perfectly? Or, I used to do that on the brand early on. I would nip it in the butt in a very anxiety. Man, why are we doing this? Like, don't you got to do it like this instead of
Giving
coaching and
false
teaching?
impression, yeah.
Yeah, like don't. I did that to you actually when you first started. Whoa, but we're still human. I think it's the intent of that is okay. And I think the biggest thing is reclaiming your identity, like just how you can, as a founder, as a leader, like as you keep maturing and growing, and you're not gonna it takes time, man. And my suggestion is to get a mentor, but like don't lose the ambition, but don't let this define you. I did an exercise last week with a group of men that I led, and it was really hard. And the exercise was, okay, guys, um, we are going to write our obituary. And eat, buddy. What is it? And do it from a third party point of view of what they would say about you. And man, I'm not where I want to be. That's all I can tell you. Like
I know what yours
what
would read. Hurry up and fill the hole.
I know, but you know what I'm saying? Like
No,
it's
I'm
a it's
teasing,
a
but
it's a pretty
no,
it's a
that's
pretty
crazy.
realistic. You have a bunch of guys doing that, and it's a very connecting experience for me, and just journey watching that struggle. Because that's the reality of the light, right? Like, that's
Mhm.
how are you showing up
How
in
do you
this
wanna be
world?
and
Are you
how do you wanna
defining
be
yourself
remembered?
as XYZ company? Are you saying that's who I am? Because that too shall pass. Like, and I'm in that moment right now. Like, man, how do I redefine myself as a person? Um, where my identity doesn't match. Like, I'm bigger than that. I'm more important than that. I don't. But you have to uncover those anchors, and for me, it's a lot of it is the anchors around financial fears. It's what ifs moments, like the what if I don't have enough? What if I can't give my kids enough? What if all these things are going through my mind, but they're all stories of mine. They're not real because they aren't happening. So I spend a lot of time, wasted energy in those anchors. So I'm just trying to get myself in this comfort spot. Like the worst case scenario is it too shall pass. I've always been one of those guys that can pick up and get going again pretty quick. Um, and it's
Yeah,
okay.
but at the end of the day, it's, the lasting impressions that you leave with people and how you wanna be remembered, and those are memories that carry on. Everybody will forget about,
Yep.
the guy that founded something that had all this money. Okay, great, yeah, that guy used to have the flashy cars, the big house, but who was he as a person? I mean, did he have impact on me? Did I get some things, some useful tools from this individual? Were they meaningful? How did he raise his kids? How did he treat his wife? How did he respect the others that worked, in the organization? Those are the lasting impressions that you wanna leave and instill and be remembered
I
by.
think as we wrap up this episode, just work through those identity moments. It's real. I wish I would have nipped it in the butt a
It's
long time
maturity.
ago, but
It's just
it's a
growth.
cycle of life.
Yeah.
But I've also seen guys that they don't mature through it, Doug. They
No, no,
become
there's ones that they're ones that are still stuck in their teenage years and can't live beyond that, you
and
know?
but they're and they're in that identity crisis and like, man,
Mhm.
the biggest thing is we're all gonna go to the same
Still
dirt.
seeking the
We're all
attention.
well, yeah, but we're also Doug. We are who we are, man, and we're going to the same place, right? And I think it's the moments outside of being an entrepreneur. I mean, you can bring that into the light. I think it's important, but
Yeah.
it can't be
It
the
can't be
spotlight
define
with
you. It can't
no,
define
it
you.
can't be the spotlight, right? And
Yeah.
I'm still uncovering that. I don't know what the future looks like, but I can tell you I'm working through it. It's unbelievably what it's bringing to my life. I'm not perfect. There's stresses I mean, as a man, there's going to be stresses at 8 o'clock at times. You're going to have it, but it's what you do with it and how fast you can transition back to where we really need to be, right? Like, hey, I need to address this business because I'm going to own that part of it. It's just something I got to do. It happened last night to me. However, but I transitioned right back out and own where I would need to be. So it's okay. Don't live in the moment. And I'm still working through that. Like, my kids last night said, "Dad." I go, "Yep, dude, you're right." I was like, "Well, I just one, you're right, man. This can wait. This too shall wait." So, um,
You told
it's
the kids they were right? I haven't gotten out. Doug, you're right. It's been a minute.
what
Gosh.
the
Levi and
fine.
Sterling, we need to have a talk.
This
I
thumb's
need to
gonna
figure
get
out how you
it's
get it
getting a
right.
little it's getting a little heavier. No, but
Uh,
guys, thanks so much for joining us on this episode, and just know you're okay with where you're at, and it's just part of this, and you're not don't feel shameful or guilt or it's just part of growing, and I think it's find a mentor that's been through it. I didn't do that. I'm guilty. I just carried the weight. I used to throw it in my bag, man. I can handle it. Throw it in my bag. I can handle it. Eventually, that those rocks they get
it
heavier and
gets
heavier,
heavy.
right? So just be part of it, own it, start learn from someone that's done it. Don't assume with the ego that you know it all because you see a little bit of success
Seek
where you
help,
are
seek
successful.
information. Yeah.
There's other people that can help you, right? And it's always good to get perspective. So, but thank you so much.
Yeah,
Just
thank you.
on the version you're holding on to yourself, look at it. Pay attention to how you're feeling. Pay attention to how you're showing up with your family, your wife, with yourself. Self love. I'm a horrible man at it. I put everyone else first, so I don't show up well for myself. So that there's some yeah, I mean, it's on me. That's my fault, right? So I got to look at that. But guys, dig deep. Until next time, I'm your host, Jeremy Axel, co-host, the man, Doug Cox. We appreciate it, guys. And
Next time.
like, subscribe, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. If you want to go audio, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music. And until next time, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.